for WWE, there was like 23,500 people in the arena because they obviously don't have to have the ice in and the boards and all that stuff. And they added a ton of people on the floor. But like, I think it holds like over 20,000 people for just a Montreal Canadiens game. Which is honestly, it is kind of crazy when you think about it.
That is
like, I know
insane.
football stadiums are obviously huge, but they're fucking huge.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Shedtime Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Shedtime. What is Shedtime, you ask? Well, it's code for the consumption of cannabis, but it's much more than that. Shedtime's a state of mind. It's art, it's music, it's cryptocurrency, technology, it's food, it's vaping. It can be whatever you want it to be, as long as you're not letting the bastards get you down, not being a dick, and making it fun. When you're in the shed, it's whatever your mind allows you to create. So now let's get to the Shedtime Podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Shedtime Podcast. And over 20,000 people in one building is a lot of fucking people. And to your boy, that's a lot of nope.
I think that there's only a certain level of things that I would enjoy in that space. Like, would I like to go watch a concert there? No, I've done it and it was horrible. I remember I saw Green Day on, I think it was like their Insomniac tour in like 1995. And I saw them at Maple Leaf Gardens, which is where the Maple Leafs used to play, obviously. And it was, at that time, I'd already been to other concerts. And I didn't really want to go, but like, I was like trying to wheel this girl that was like a German exchange student, and she really wanted to go. And so like I got some people together and we went, and it was fucking horrible, dude. The sound was so bad. And I just remember thinking like, this was the worst concert I've ever been to. So I'd really just go there for what they're built for, like sports. Like I go to like a Leafs game. You know, I'll go to like a Blue Jays game, and like Rogers Center can hold like 50,000 people.
Let's see, I'm curious right now. So, the Boston Garden.
It's probably like 18,000. That was what I bet.
I don't think it's that large. 19,580. So you're pretty damn close, Chris.
There's not that many NHL arenas that hold over 20,000 people. Like for a basketball game, that might be like what they can hold for a basketball game. Maybe for a hockey game, it's a little bit less.
Yeah,
because you know there's more people reasonable. Can fit in a basketball game. But I mean, I've been to just enough. I remember going to like the Monster Truck show at the Sky Dome when it used to be called the Sky Dome. And it was pretty cool, but I was also like fucking 11 years old. And I was watching inside this place, like monster trucks and motocross and shit. So like it was definitely cool. But yeah, dude, I remember I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers there, and like it was so weird because you were walking on like the baseball field. It was like in the middle of the outfield. And so like there was some seats, but a lot of people were just like on the grass, I guess. Well, fake grass. And it was such a weird vibe, dude. I don't know how many people were there. Probably like 30,000 people.
I just checked because I was curious. So by contrast, the capacity of Gillette Stadium is 65,878 for football games, but 70,000 for concerts.
Yeah, like, dude, think about how massive you have to be to like play one of those.
Like, that's the crazy thing, right? It's like 70,000 for concerts. I've been to the country music festival that they throw at Gillette every year. And to think that 70,000 people were in that space, like between, you know, the actual venue and the parking lot, like is a wild construct.
Dude, isn't that like, you know, 3-4% of like the greater Boston area population?
I don't know the exact math on that, but
well, dude, if it was 10% of the population, that means that the population would be like 700,000 people. Well, obviously, there's more than that. But
see.
like you're talking about percentages of the population of the area have to be in the stadium for it to fill up that hard. Like
So
that's crazy.
The Greater Boston Metropolitan Statistical Area, which includes Boston, Cambridge, and Newton, had a population of approximately 4.9 million as of 2023.
So 1% of that is 49,000 people. So it's like 1.5% of like that greater area would have to be in attendance at
that's
one
the Greater
fucking
Metropolitan
venue.
Area. Like, just for fun, what is the Boston population on its own? The Boston population is 653,833.
Yeah, so it actually holds 10% of the population of like Boston
The city of
proper.
Boston. Yeah, like that's a wild thing to think about.
That is actually kind of fucking crazy, dude.
That's wild to think about. And I was there, and it honestly, like, that's a crazy thing to think about, is how that shit's engineered so that in a sea of that many people, you don't feel like you're in a sea of that many people. Like, it's clearly engineered and designed in a fashion to move people efficiently enough that it never feels like you're in that entire mass. Of course, maybe unless you're in the arena in your seat amongst everybody.
Yeah, the only time you really notice it probably is like when you're like going in or leaving.
Yeah.
Because in the parking and everything, like all those different things probably make it really different. Because I used to find that even when I would go like to the Rogers Center, right, where the Blue Jays play, and you'd only really notice how many people were there when you were leaving. Because like when you get there, there's people that show up early, there's people that show up late, like it's kind of like all over the place. But when you leave, everybody's kind of leaving in the same like 20 minutes. And dude, like when you have 50,000 people that are just like flooding onto the streets because it's like the Sky Dome's like right downtown. There's not like parking at the Sky Dome. Like there's lots if you walk blocks, but like you're right downtown. And so like you just see, dude, you'll be like getting out and there'll be like this crazy like catwalks that are leaving, and you'll just see so many fucking people. So many people like walking to like the subways and like transits and GO trains and like all these different things. You're like, dude, there's so many fucking people. It's fucking crazy.
Wild. It is wild. One of those moments it humbles you and you go, yeah, and I'm just one of 8 billion people on this planet.
Oh yeah, well, dude, and even in like the springtime, right? There'll be times where like the Maple Leafs or the Raptors are playing, and it's like maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from like where the Blue Jays will play. So all of a sudden you have like 70,000 people that have just been at these events that are like on the streets. Like, yeah, Toronto's huge and it's always pretty fucking busy, but you still notice it. You're like, yo, there must have been an event going on tonight.
Yeah, I've been in the city, like going to concerts in Boston when there'd be like Red Sox games.
Yeah.
And like having that dual influx of people. For sure. Always wild.
Yeah, dude. And Fenway probably holds like 40,000 people.
It's a good size. It's a good size ballpark, and they keep trying to expand it and add more seating. God bless them.
Yeah, I hate the Red Sox, but like one day I have to watch a game on the fucking Green Monster. I just have to.
We'll go together, bro.
Yeah, I need to go. And the benefit too is they're in the Blue Jays division, so I'll be able to probably go see the Blue Jays because they'll play there probably like 7 or 8 times at least in the season.
It's crazy to think that they're like, there's a whole generation of people who don't even know that you didn't always sit on top of the the Green Monster.
Yeah, I feel like for the majority of my life they did, but I think that's the majority of my memory.
Yeah,
Like, it's definitely possible that at some point in my life, like since 1980, that they didn't have seats up there. But from my memory, like it's been there my whole life.
When did Fenway add monster seats? 2003.
There you go. So a lot of my life, there was nobody that could sit up there actually.
Yeah,
Like half my life almost.
2003 is when they added those seats. And like, I'm kind of with you, Chris. Like, I live in Massachusetts. I see Red Sox footage on the news every day. You know what I mean? Like, it is a common thing where I live, obviously, and yet it feels like it's been my entire life, even though it's only been since 2003.
I mean, it's still been over 20 years, but it's still. I have plenty of memories before 2003.
Yeah, for real. It's just like it became so normal to me. It's like, yeah, you can sit on the green monster. What? You gotta get the green monster going, because that's what the merch even branded it as.
Dude, one day I don't want to say that like I'm gonna go to every major league stadium, but like I definitely like to hit up and get my numbers up to at least double digits.
You'd like to at least try?
Well, at least there's a few that I'd really like to go to. So I'd really like to go to like Angels Park or whatever it's called, because I just think that it looks cool. The outfield's cool. Like I think that it'd be nice to go. I'd like to go to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Because anybody I've ever talked to that's been there is like, it's the fucking raddest place to see a game. So I'd like to go there. I'd like to go to Fenway Park just because there's a lot of history there. And like, as a person that loves history, like I think that it'd be really fun to go to.
We should do it during the Winter Classic.
Well, here's the thing. If I did that, I'd have to watch the Bruins and like some other team I didn't care about, because like the chances of the Leafs playing the Bruins is like so slim. So I think I'd rather just go for like a Jays game. And don't worry, people, I wouldn't be like wearing Jays gear or any of that shit. I'm not one of those people. But I think that I would much rather go for that. But yeah, I mean, if I was already in like Anaheim, I'd go to Dodger Stadium. I think that'd probably be pretty cool too.
If you're in Anaheim, you'll be going to Angel Stadium.
Yeah, no, that's why I said Angel Stadium before, but I said if I was already going to be there. It still is in Anaheim, right?
Angel Stadium, yeah. Dodger Stadium's not.
No, that's in LA, I would assume. Yeah. But no, because I always thought that like Angel Stadium looked cool. They have like a really cool outfield and shit. So I said I would go there, and then if I was already there, I would obviously go to the Dodger Stadium. Those are like the ones that I really like to go to. I mean, I'd go to other ones, I'm sure.
Anaheim's pretty sweet. I've been there a few times.
Is that like hours away from me, or is it?
No.
Is it closer than LA? Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it just depends.
Yeah, I guess traffic is such a big thing anywhere in
California.
California.
It's not even that.
Sure.
LA is a lot bigger than people think it is.
Well, it just sprawls out, I assume.
Because when you say LA, you're also saying all the cities that encompass LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like Toronto. No, I feel you. It's like you can drive for hours and you're like, people would still say, oh, I live in LA. And it's like, well, you probably live in Pasadena. Well, that's probably not the right one, but I'm just saying some random place in California that I'm thinking about.
Just makes me think of all these rappers I knew in the scene where it's like, we all said we were from Boston. Because what are you going to do? Be like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Weymouth, Massachusetts.
Well, honestly, dude, this is the thing, Sean. I feel like if you're anybody who's moved out of Massachusetts and people ask where you're from, 90% of the time you say Boston and not Massachusetts.
100%. It's like we could be like, oh yeah, I'm from fucking Springfield, Mass, kid.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're just a Boston kid.
It's like for me,
everybody.
Whenever I went anywhere out of California and people ask where I'm from, I'm like, I'm midway between LA and Vegas.
I'm just one of them SoCal people.
Yeah.
My wife says,
I used to say that I was like from Toronto area. I'd be like, oh, I'm from the Toronto area.
Yeah,
I remember
like,
one
but I wouldn't
time-
even. I wouldn't say I'm from LA because I'm not even in LA County.
Yeah, well, I was not in Toronto County, but like it was 10 minutes and you were in Toronto city limits. So
Yeah,
like
I'm
I
not
would
even
say that.
close.
But dude, I remember when I was at university, I was like out somewhere, I can't remember where it was, and I like met this person and we're like talking whatever, and there's this girl that I knew, and she was there, and they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" And they're like, I was like, "Oh, I'm from like just outside Toronto." She's like, this girl that I knew, she's like, "You're not from close to Toronto, you're from the sticks." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I live in Toronto." She's like, you can't say that you live in Toronto, like, or you don't like." And I remember it was like this like big thing, dude. And I was like, we're fucking like 10 hours away from fucking Toronto. Like, you think that if I tell this person that I live in Vaughan, they're gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about? Like, it's just, if I can drive all the way downtown in 30 minutes at midnight, I can pretty much say that that's where I'm fucking from. Toronto is fucking massive, bitch. Like, I remember it drove me fucking up the wall. So then anytime I was anywhere with that girl after, if it ever came up, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm from like Toronto suburbs."
Is that why people
Like,
just
oh.
use the GTA? I'm from the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah, but like, see, at the time, the GTA wasn't really a thing until like after that. Like, this was like right around like the millennium. Like, this is like right around 2000. And
So,
like, GTA
interesting.
wasn't like a real thing in people's vernaculars at the time.
Interesting. That's a more
Yeah.
modern. That's a more modern thing.
Yeah, like that probably be in the last like 20 years. Like, honestly, that really got big after fucking Drake was like famous.
Yeah, all right.
Like, I'm sure that it was already called that. I'm not giving Drake credit, but like the six and him talking about all that shit, like I think that like that is when it started to like come into play. Because it was always like if you had a 416 phone number, you were from Toronto. That was like Toronto's area code. In the 90s for sure. After like 2000, there started to be more of them because there was so many fucking people and the city was so big. Like now there's probably like fucking 10. There's like 647, fucking whatever. There's a ton of them. And I was from the 905. So the minute that you cross Steeles Avenue, which nobody's going to know, but it was like one street. The north side of the street was Vaughan. The south side of the street was Toronto. So like you could have people, you'd be driving down the street and it'd be like Barb's Pizza on the north side of the street. It'd be like 905, 705 or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then on the south side, it could be like fucking Billy's fucking Balloons. And it was 416.
I love when shit like that happens. Like when you've got like a town line or anything like that that runs down a street in a way where it just divides it so strangely.
Yeah,
Well,
like
that's
the
like
north
how
side would
every
be a
city
city
is
and south
here.
side. I think that that's what happens, James. Like when you're from places that, or if you're in areas that are really built up on top of each other, because at some point it was not built up all the way there, but now it is. So now it just seems so fucking weird.
Yeah,
And you
it's
could be
like
like,
you can be in the same parking lot, but if the parking lot like fucking crosses over a certain way, one end of the parking lot's in one city and one ends in the other.
Yep.
dude, I remember
Right.
when I was a kid, sometimes there was like people that would live in the same area, but it was like one person lived like 3-4 minute walk down the street, and it was fucking long distance because they would be a different area code. So like you'd have one friend that had a 416 phone number and that's where they lived, and they lived in Toronto, but then somebody else that went to the same fucking school as them that lived like a 3-4 minute walk, like a mile away, not even. And they would have to fucking press like 1-905 their phone number to fucking call them. This was like going back to the 90s. After like probably the late 90s, it was like it was distance. It was like if you're close, because then you had to start putting in like you'd have to put in the area code, but you wouldn't have to dial 1. So once they brought that in, you didn't have to pay long distance for that bullshit anymore. Man, it's fucking so crazy.
I still
that
press
shit
one.
makes me feel old, by the way. Like when
Still
I think
press
about
one
stuff
when
like
I dial
that.
numbers like that, Chris. Like if it's outside of my area code, I still do it. And I know I don't have to anymore, and I still do it.
Like, isn't that crazy that we lived in a time like that shit was real? And I honestly I don't feel that I'm fucking that old.
Well,
Like I know that
I-
I'm not young, but I don't feel like I'm like, oh man, in my day we had to fucking
Well, it's
we
just
didn't
because
have to dial anything.
it's just because things have changed so drastically in just 2 decades, bro.
yeah, like it's
Yeah, like from the
insane.
90s to now is like massive. Which I guess is more than 2 decades, but I feel you. Even since 2005 to now, yeah, like the last 20 years, it's moved just like fucking
Lightning speed.
like
Yeah.
from Facebook to now. Wow,
Dude,
like,
and
it's
just think what
crazy.
it's gonna look 10 years from now.
Dude, I was thinking about that actually today. So like I was like watching something on YouTube and there was a commercial, right? And the commercial was talking about like AI. And they're like, oh, we do this stuff. And it was like for developing a website or something. I can't remember. It was an advertisement. And they're like talking about AI and they're like showing things that are like to do with the AI and computers and everything. I'm like, bro, like I'm watching this right now. And this feels like I'm in the time before you come into a movie that everything is fucking crumbling because people just kept on wanting more and more and more and more. And like that's where we're at right now. Like the beginnings of like what it's going to look like in 10 years when like the world is crumbling, when a movie would pick up and it'd be like talking about like how the world's crumbled and now there's all these people that are left to survive. Like I honestly was just sitting there like like are we living in this fucking crazy world right now? And I guess we kind of are.
We're not far off.
No, like we could very well be in the next decade, bro. Like, it might be fucking crazy by fucking 2035.
It's funny to me because I say it somewhat ironically, I guess, but I always like to quote Jasper Beardley from The Simpsons and go, "What a time to be alive."
It's like the wildest and like craziest time to be alive, but I feel like it's also one of the best times to be alive in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? It's like with the things that we have,
Things are way easier.
yeah, access to on a daily basis as far as, food, shelter, those type. I will also go out and say not everybody has that, but for the majority, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy, dude.
I mean, just in the time that cell phones have evolved to a point where these are little pocket computers we carry with us all the time that can do so many great things. Like the fact that I can get work done on a cell phone for my job, just figuring out routes, doing different things is incredible. The fact that during this show, if we have questions, we can literally get our answers immediately because the internet is in our hand. Like, this really is a wild time to be alive. Like, computing power has gotten to points that, like, dude, new video games are getting to a point we almost can't distinguish if it's video or computer generated. Like, some of the realism is incredible because of the computing power we're
just that, dude. Sean, it's just half the shit that's on fucking Instagram now. You don't know if it's real or fake because half of it's AI created, dude. Like half of these like Instagram like models and stuff, majority of them are all AI fucking. Because if you notice, like half of them, like if you stumble across it, like they all look the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or they have like a very similar type of look with slight variations and shit. Like, dude, there's like these like I was watching a video the other day where they were talking about this. He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, I'm scrolling through. He's like, and I'm like on Twitch or something, and I'm watching this stream, and it's this super like hot chick or whatever, and then all of a sudden, the dude turns off like whatever AI filter thing he's got going on, and it's literally just a dude sitting there, but like through like AI, like capturing his camera, he was able to overlay this super realistic like woman avatar, and like every movement that he did, that AI avatared, and it was almost like you couldn't tell unless you sat there and really looked, and then obviously saw the side by side of the dude moving, and then it was a fucking trip, dude. I'm like, holy shit.
That shit's
I
like
mean,
really like moved
Or-
forward and all that stuff in the last couple of years, like especially, man. It's like
Dude,
crazy.
I've seen these other ones too, where I find out pretty quick that they're fake. But dude, like I'll like watch these videos where it's like they discover like this crazy creature out of the sea or like out of the jungle or some shit, and it's like these like big group of people, and they have this giant like fucking fish or something hanging, and it's like it's a video, but like all of a sudden you start watching, and you notice like certain things just aren't quite right. Like this guy's arms kind of blending into his torso, but like it's not like if you were just to look at it on a glance, you would 100% be like, yep, that's real. You know what I mean? But obviously, as you sit there and kind of like pick through it, you start noticing small little things that the AI like didn't quite get right.
Yeah,
like
they
I seen
suck
this
at
one.
making fingers too.
Yeah, I seen this one the other day where it's like this like giant like humpback whale that has like all these fucking barnacles and shit on it, and it's like this like this boat that's like a whale wash where the fucking whales swim up to it, and it's got like this big fucking bristle brush like at a car wash that fucking runs up and down the whale, and all of a sudden you just see all these fucking barnacles and stuff just like melting off of it. And at first, when you're first watching it, it looks so real, but then after you notice, if you watch the brush and at how the barnacles are like falling, they're not necessarily falling off as much as they're just kind of like melting into each other in a way that it looks like they're just like falling where the brush is moving. Almost like, you know, when you're like in paint on the computer and you're like erasing, and you can kind of see like as it goes, it almost just kind of like fucking fades into like the next. It was like, dude, this is fucking trippy, bro. They had me for a second. I was like, oh, damn, that's fucking sweet. And then I watched it again. I'm like, these motherfuckers got me.
Yep. I mean, it makes me think about dead internet theory. That a large majority of the accounts that are active on most social media and other, internet platforms are just bots.
Well, not only that,
Interacting with
dude.
bots.
Some of these
Interacting
people
with
that
you.
have these crazy follower accounts too. Like there's this one that's like, I don't really understand how he's big. I think it's through like just like controversy and like troll videos and stuff like that. But he's like this. He was a Twitch streamer. I don't know what he streams on now, but his kid named Neon. And it's like I feel like there was a point where he got exposed, like in his early days of like him literally like buying subs and stuff to keep him like at a certain level to make sure that he was able to bring in revenue and keep himself relevant enough to pop up on these pages. And that's also what kind of helped him gain like his following. But like when you watch,
it's honestly not even that hard. Like I've seen people do it on X.
well, dude, how many?
And it's crazy, dude.
I'm sure Sean's got them, but like I get them. I used to get them all the time on like Instagram and stuff, where they hit you. They literally hit you up in your emails and be like, "Hey, we noticed your follower counts here, here, and there. We can guarantee you da followers if you want to join our program." And it's literally these people that have these fucking bot lobbies of accounts that they literally get you to sign up to their thing. They subscribe to your shit with all their bot accounts, and you pay them a fee.
Yeah. Yep. There's people, or there's like bots you can get. So like being like around Twitter for like a while, people, especially when the markets were really good, like a few years ago, they would be like, oh, we're going to create this project. And what we're going to do is like, we're going to get the project. We're going to like get maybe like 200-300 organic followers for this project. And then we're going to bot the fuck out of it. And they basically just like PayPal money to this like fucking this people, I guess. And then all of a sudden, like they'll have like fucking 25,000 followers, and all these bots will be like interacting with their posts, and like posting random shit that could have something to do with what they're doing, or like, yo, I'm really looking forward to this. And then it'd just be like all this stuff, and then that just like sucks in more people, right? It's like the same idea as like what you're talking about with that guy. He like would have just enough people to be interested, and it would like keep him in algorithms, and then it would allow him to get found by like other real people. And like, dude, that shit used to fucking blow my mind. And the only reason why I ever really found it out was that one day I was like sitting in a Twitter space, and there was like 100 people in this Twitter space or something. And this dude's talking about, he's like, man, he's like, you can manipulate all this stuff so easily. And people are like, yeah, I don't really know how you do it. And he's like, here, he's like, how many people do you want to be in this space right now? Someone was like, yo, get 1,000 people in this space. He's like, okay. And then it was like 10 minutes later, he's like, has anybody been paying attention to like the amount of people that are in this Twitter space? And like, someone's like, yo, there's fucking 1,200 people in this fucking Twitter space right now. And it was just tons of fucking bots, bro. Like just tons of bots. But then all of a sudden it had 2,000 people, and he's like, I only paid for 1,000. So it was literally, people were like, yo, look at this, there's space is popping. There's fucking over 1,000 people in there. I'm gonna jump in. And so then you actually do lure more people in. It's like this, I guess it's just the way that people work. They're like, yo, there's a lot of people in there. I'm gonna check it out.
Algorithm.
Yeah, dude. And it's just like you're 100% gaming the system, absolutely. And I mean, it's kind of cool that you know that you can do it, and like it's proven to be successful, but at the same time it seems so grimy. Like I wouldn't think I'd want to do it, but it definitely allowed a lot of people to make a lot of money. So and I'm sure that dude was probably not doing too bad when he was spotting all that shit before he got found out. And like, who knows, maybe he's still doing a lot, but it's crazy, dude.
It's almost like the dishonest approach to targeted advertisement, right? Like, it's like a sneaky, dark advertisement technique. Because, like, from a business perspective, if I want to grow a business, that's one way I could approach it and be sneaky. Or I could just do regular targeted advertisement and put ads where people I want to see them are.
Yeah, like you're gonna be like, whatever it happens to be. If like your audience is like in this age group, you might want to try to target to like people that like energy drinks. So you'll get energy drink fucking ads or whatever, like all those kinds of things. Yeah.
You know, like if I'm a business that sells car parts, then, you know, I probably don't want to sell it to people buying Taylor Swift tickets.
Yeah, you should be like, yo, put me on every Facebook fucking marketplace that has like car parts, or like put me in like all the Facebook fucking groups that have to do with like Chevy fucking lovers, and you sell a bunch of fucking parts for Chevy vehicles. Like that's what you're gonna do.
Or I can,
which is targeting, but
I can blow up my social media by just doing it the dark way and making my posts go viral, even though most of the content I've created is going viral through bot farming.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's just a fake it till you make it vibe, man. Honestly, I think it's like so many other things in this world. Like, I'm sure that if you told some kid that felt like he was like putting out great content on Twitch, and you're like, yo, listen, it's like anytime that you go live, I'm going to fucking throw 150 bot accounts into your shit. That will get you closer on your fucking, on the Twitch main page to like, people might actually come in. They're like, oh, there's 300 people watching this. I'll check out this new streamer. He's playing a game I like. When if it was only 25 people, chances are like not many people are going to fucking go to it. So it's hard for you to grow. But you know what I mean? It's just, it's almost like this like weird necessary evil, but at the same time, like it does feel grimy to me. And I guess like, you know, anything could be that way. Like if we wanted to spend $1,000 a month on like pushing this podcast, like we would end up getting more people. But like, just to be completely honest, like us making that $1,000 back in that month, this would be pretty fucking hard.
Fact.
You know what I mean? So like you'd have to like really have a plan, and you'd have to like really be pushing the right way, and like it's very difficult. But you see lots of people that are doing it, and lots of people that are successful, and lots of people that like can like get startups going because of those ways. Like I said, I saw so much of that happen in like the last crypto bull run. Just people taking advantage of all these things, and it would really benefit them. And so like the next person that was trying to do it would be like, man, well, I know that they're botting, but like it worked out really well for them and they got funded. So now I'm going to do it. And it just kind of like keeps on going until nobody wants to do anything. And then obviously like that's a failed plan at that point, but you wouldn't be doing it at the same time.
I mean, I feel like the bot follower thing has been popping since back in the early 2000s. I feel like I remember that happening even back in MySpace, where you could buy MySpace followers. So like,
I'm sure
it's lasted for at least the last 20 years as a marketing system of some sort.
Yeah, dude, and on like YouTube and stuff, like no doubt.
It's happened just ever since social media and the follower system became a thing.
And like the more followers you have, the more opportunity you have.
All it is a popularity contest. The more people that follow you means, you know, you're the most popular thing. So everybody wants to be a part of it.
More followers and more engagement, and more followers and more engagement.
Yeah, which is more eyes and more opportunity, right?
Yeah, if your material can only bring 25 eyes a post to my ad, it's not the same as if you bring 25,000 eyes to my post.
But the thing I will say though is the majority of the ones that do that botting, I don't feel like last as long or don't necessarily get as much of a pop as some of those people that do it more of an organic route, because I feel like especially now, authenticity is such a big thing. I feel
yeah, it's rare
that
too,
I feel
right?
like there's certain people that you could tell when they actually have an authentic following and their growth is because of what they are doing, not because of maybe some kind of background finagling, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those people and ultimately end up being more successful because they have that more just true following, because they are so why did I blank it on the word? I just said it. Authentic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree entirely, actually. I mean, I think truthfully, as you put it that way, I think we've even seen it in action in YouTube when we saw, you know, a certain reviewer kind of go that sort of a route and become a bit more shilly and that sort, and not last as long for the duration, unlike some of the more authentic people in that community. So yeah, I think you're dead on accurate. I mean, the old saying still stands true to this day, right? Real recognize real. And I know that's something that I always appreciate, is authenticity in something.
Yeah, because you also tell like which ones are in it for the right reasons too a lot of the times, because there's been few like content creators, like as far as like Instagram and all those things go, to where it's like at first they are authentic to themselves, but after a certain point they get to such a big growth that once they get to that high point, they don't know how to handle it, and they start making those bad decisions because they are like,
or they're like
I'm
desperately
here.
trying to like
They're grasping at straws to hold
Yeah.
on to everything that they've got, and then ultimately they just collapse and either just disappear or just the popularity just falls off. And like, dude, there's one guy like he's been in the game for a minute. And like as of late, like the dude's kind of wilding. I was never super into him, but I catch clips and stuff here and there. Have you ever heard of FouseyTube, Sean?
No.
Well, he's like this guy that was big on like YouTube and like Vine and stuff like that way back in the day, making like content and stuff like that. And then like as things went on, he like transferred into like the streaming side of things. And like at some point, apparently he was like pretty big in like the YouTube space, I guess. And like he's like apparently pretty successful at some point, because like, you know, he wears all the flashy stuff. He's got like crazy cars and stuff like that. He even did like a celebrity or like one of those YouTube boxing matches at some point.
Yeah.
And like, dude, but like within like the last like couple years, dude, like the dude's like been doing like these 24-hour streams where the dude's just fucking losing his fucking mind, bro. Where it's like, I don't know if I think he might be like bipolar or has some sort of mental things, bro. Cause like there's times where he just fucking flips, dude, and he starts going off on his like fucking crew, like his cameraman and like all this stuff. And like, he went out and made like dropped this like record, and he's talking about how he's going to be the best rapper in the world. People aren't ready for this, and that, yada, yada, yada. Puts one of his songs out where he's literally like dissing everybody like in the streaming world just because like some people that like he doesn't even necessarily have beef with, but just because they're super big, he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go for him. And like, it's kind of just been wild watching like the fucking downfall of this dude toward like I don't even know what he's doing at this point, but like there was a point where he was like pretty big and successful in the space, and I think he just let it get to his head way too much to where his ego is just way too fucking inflated to where he just can't handle the fact that he's not top dog anymore.
Yeah,
and he's like, it's almost like that dude that was like high school quarterback and like captain of the football team and stuff, and like and now is like a mechanic at like the fucking shop, but still thinks he can go out and try out for the NFL and make it like first fucking pick sort of thing. Like it's almost that kind of vibe. Like he's like an older guy in the space trying to still act and live like these younger popular
he's
streamers.
like 10 years younger than Uncle Rico.
Yeah, dude, because he's definitely I think a few years older than I am.
Yeah,
but he's like wearing all like the crazy outfits that the kids are wearing nowadays, and the painted nails and all like the craziness. And dude, it's like, dude,
when you see that though, it's sad though, man.
Dude, that's like watching it, bro, just makes me think like, dude, come on, bro, just pull it together. Like you were obviously a smart dude to get yourself to this point at some point. When do you realize it's time to give up on this and maybe find another venture that you can
take
pursue?
Whatever money you have left
and whatever you've learned from doing this and do something more productive. Like, because dude, obviously this ain't it. But then again, people are watching him because like it's content.
It's a car crash.
It's literally, bro. It's a fucking shit show sometimes.
Dude, there's this guy that it's almost like the exact same kind of thing that you're talking about, but he was like in crypto. He was like the biggest crypto YouTuber. Okay. His name was BitBoy. He was like on the top of the fucking world. Dude had fucking like probably like $50 million easy. Like his net worth was probably like $50 million or something crazy. Like he was fucking on the top of the world. Then he like got lost in coke. He was like fucking around on his wife, doing all this like crazy shit, bro. Then everybody like, because he was just, his life was in the fucking gutter. Everybody was like, I don't fucking want anything to do with you anymore. Then the dude like fell off and he like went fucking crazy and went viral on like some videos that he was like literally losing his mind. Like he looked like a person that was possessed, and he like, everything was gone. And then he decided that he was like, I'm going to fucking come back. He goes and he does like the influencer boxing. He was like, I think he might have won a match even. He was just like this dude that was like my age, that was out of shape, coming off of like, heavy fucking abuse of drugs and alcohol. And like, he's desperately trying to fucking stay relevant. And it's fucking, honestly, dude, it makes me sad that there's human beings like that, like, because he had everything.
They get lost in the sauce, everything. Bro. You just get lost in the sauce, man.
He probably was one of those people, just like you're describing, like that he could do anything he fucking wanted, and this was never gonna fucking run out. But it's fucking ran out on that dude. I mean, he's probably still makes more money than like I've ever made in a year. But
and the shitty part about it is
millionaire to that is not great.
Is like the shitty part about it is you can also tell that those guys are trying to be something other than what they are. Like they're trying to be like that person. You know what I mean? Instead of just
Yeah.
being themselves, allowing them to get to that point. You know what I mean? Because it's like I could tell like this guy, like this first guy, he's trying to like put out this like big popular like I'm the shit kind of character, but deep down I feel like there's something going on to where he's fighting to keep this persona and this thing going.
Like
'Cause
his identity is that,
that's
and
his
he can't handle
yeah,
it
he
because it's
let
not really it.
exactly, and he's
He's
letting that like
cosplaying as this version of
it's
himself.
unfortunate, dude.
Dude, speaking of people that like were at some point pretty popular and like have kind of gone into like not popular, but I'm assuming that they're actually still popular. Dude, I was watching a podcast, right? And Andy Milanokis was on it. And dude, like that guy is cool, bro.
Yeah.
He's cool and he's like
He's like one of the biggest streamers, bro.
No, but like I don't think that before he was like he was on MTV and all that stuff, which I guess is so different than streaming, right? Because I'm not really into streaming. Like, I
Dude,
don't think
I'll
of
tell you
him.
what, bro. There's people streaming that are making more money than people that are on TV, bro.
Oh, well, that I'm sure of.
That's what I'm saying. Where he's still doing fairly well.
Oh, I'm sure he is. He has like over 600,000 people on Twitch, I think, as like followers or whatever.
Music that fucking he's made and the tours he's going on making music.
Well, dude, and like the fact that he's been pretty successful for the last 20 years.
Easily.
Like, yeah, I'd say like 20 years. I feel like his like MTV show was like around 20 years ago. He did it for like maybe 3 years. Then after that, he like did some other shit. But like, I don't know what he did to make money before that.
So he had because I remember he was on the
He was
Man
on Jimmy
Show
Kimmel.
on Comedy Central.
Yeah, but I feel like that was probably like 20 years ago. No, because I was watching. It was like on like Stabby's World. It might have came out like the last like 2 weeks or something, and he was saying that like he moved to LA, I think, when he was like 25. Dude, he's 4 years older than I am.
Yeah.
Like, actually, he's 4 years in a day. His birthday is January 30th, 1976.
Dude, side note, bro. There's a video I saw of him recently where like he's in like Greece or like Italy or something.
Yeah,
and
probably
like
Greece.
And he finds this like barber shop or like this salon, and he's got like this kind of like long hairdo sort of thing, and he's got like these like blue or like rose colored glasses on, and he walks in, he starts talking to the guy. He's like, "Oh, can I get a haircut?" And he's like, maybe it's like about like here or whatever. And then like the guy like cuts his hair or whatever, and then afterwards like Andy's like fucking doing like a little selfie, like checking it out, and like the barber or like the hairstylist comes up behind him. He's like, "Oh, so beautiful." He's like fluffing his hair up, and then all of a sudden he goes and he like kisses Andy on the cheek, because I feel like he thinks Andy's a woman, because he gives him like an old school like woman kind of like cut. Dude, it's the funniest fucking shit, dude. Because as soon as he goes and like kisses Andy on the cheek, Andy just starts fucking dying laughing, bro. Because like even he wasn't ready for it. He's like, "What the fuck?" But dude, it's the funniest shit. Guess you had to be there.
No,
Andy
it's definitely pretty funny.
Milanokis.
But yeah, so like it's in 2003 is like when he went viral because he like wrote that Super Bowl is gay song that he put up. But he was already putting up videos before that, but like that one hit, and like that's like what got him famous, because that's what got him noticed by like the Jimmy Kimmel people. So like maybe in like
1999, The Man Show first aired. He had a recurring appearance on The Man Show as the Man Show boy.
at the Man Show Boy.
Yeah, where they would have Andy Milanokis go do very adult things looking like a child.
He was like their man on the street guy.
Yeah.
Well, I
and
know that he
freak people
definitely
out.
did that on Jimmy Kimmel too. Like he
But yeah,
would,
he
like,
did that
walk
on the Man
street.
Show first, before Jimmy Kimmel even had a show, where like Jimmy Kimmel hosted it with what's his name, Adam Carolla.
Yep.
That was back on Spike TV when Spike TV first.
Yeah,
came.
that's what it was. It was Spike TV, not Comedy Central.
TV for Men.
Yes. That was like one of their debut shows when they launched that channel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got the Man Show.
You know, it's so weird. It doesn't even show that on fucking his Wikipedia. Way to go, Wikipedia. Come on,
Oh,
people.
dude, Wikipedia is one of those ones you can't necessarily trust because anybody can edit it.
Yeah, I know.
If you go to his IMDb, I bet you it's on there.
Yeah, because on here it has the first thing is like 2005, the Andy Milanokis show, which was 22 episodes.
Yeah, see, like for that, they're probably just doing the first thing that he did of his own, where he like might have been on things prior to that.
He was in the movie Waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen that show or that movie.
What?
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's amazing.
You are sleeping, Chris.
Like I know that Ryan Reynolds is in it.
He's not even the funniest part.
Ryan Reynolds, Dane Cook, fucking who else is a fucking classic in there?
That one guy. Fuck, what's his name? Jake
Jake
Jason
Gyllenhaal?
Lee?
Yeah, Jason Lee. There we go. Yes, Jason Lee.
It says Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, Justin Long, David Koechner.
Oh, Justin Long. That's what I was
There it
thinking
is.
of.
John Francis Daly, Caitlin Doubleday, Alana Ubach, Chi McBride, Luis Guzman. That's who's like the main people. It says starring.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking hilarious, bro.
It is a very real representation of restaurant work life.
10 out of 10 recommend.
Yep.
But yeah, Andy Milanokis is like the stoner busboy.
And he's like a wannabe gangster rapper, which makes it even better.
And what's just hilarious because at the time he was like 29 years old.
I know. It's
You know
great.
what I mean?
It's great. It's amazing. Like, I'll just tell you this. There's a scene where him and his buddy are getting high off the whipped cream.
Oh, they're doing whippets.
Yeah. So, like, very accurate depiction of a fucking restaurant.
Dude, but it's crazy though. I was like watching it and I totally expected that like Andy Milanokis was like doing crazy drugs all the time. He's like, I've never done drugs, bro. Like that's what he's saying. He's like, I've never done acid. He's like, I've smoked weed and done mushrooms. And like I've drank, but he's like, I've never did any of that stuff. He's like, I was too scared. Which is kind of crazy because like a lot of people just would do it. I mean, I've never done some of those things because I'm too scared. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
but I've never been like thrusted or had that much money and would have been surrounded by people doing all that shit. And like,
I feel like even if I were to even be faced with the opportunity to do a lot of those things, like, cause I've even had chances to do other things, I still too scared, bro.
Yeah. And like, he didn't pop until he was in his late 20s. So like, he was already had a good amount of life.
Like reggae music and stuff, bro, growing up. And
yeah, dude,
shit. So it's like
he's always been like just the grimy dude. Rougher. Because the minute that he said it, like Stavros is like, oh yeah, he's like Bob Marley. He's like Bob Marley was cool, but he's like, I like the more grimy, like rough reggae. Like, and then he said like, some dude's name that I didn't recognize, so I haven't remembered it. But dude, he was just talking about like growing up in Queens and like how like him and his like best friend who had like a really unique first names did not sound like he was probably like a Caucasian dude. And he's like, we used to just like hang out at this like dude in our fucking like in the unit beside our like or his buddies or whatever. And like the dude would be like cooking fucking like meth and shit. And he just loved them being around. He's like, yeah, we're probably like 15, 16 years old. And like, we didn't really think much. We just chilled and would play fucking.
Talked about how one day he went over there and they're hanging out playing some sort of video game and shit. And he had to leave. And he said as soon as he left, apparently the fucking spot got fucking raided where his buddy was fucking hanging out there and shit.
Or yeah, he was like the DEA or so the shit was there.
It was like 10 minutes after I left, they just fucking busted through the door and fucking grabbed my buddy up and like the other guy. And like there's all kinds of fucking shit in the apartment. And like I was like, oh fuck, dude.
Andy
but also at the same time, like I remember the first time I saw Andy Milanokis, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, look at this kid. Like, what the fuck? How is like this kid? How are they letting this kid do this shit?
I got bees
And
on
then
my
I
head,
find
but
out, I'm
don't
like,
call
yo,
me
he's
a bee
older
head.
than me. What the fuck? Because, dude, even now, like, if you looked at him right now, so like that podcast was filmed within the last couple months, he still looks like he's 15 years younger than me, maybe even 25, to be honest. And I honestly don't think that I feel like I look super old. So like I think that he looks like he's 25 tops, and he's almost 50. Like he's in his 50th year. But he seemed like a really like grounded, like chill dude, and like was just like all about like just enjoying life. And
Yeah, here you go, Chris. Here's Andy Milanokis on The Man Show as the Man Show boy.
he was probably like almost 30.
Yeah, legit. Because we're talking like 1999, 2000, like so. Yeah, 20.
Oh, okay, so like
plus
25
years ago.
I just remember
Yeah.
when I was a kid just thinking that was a rumor, that he was like actually like some 30-year-old dude. I was like, there's no way, bro. He's like, there's no way. These guys are lying.
But that was how they could pull shit like this, where you've got like what looks like a little like 12-year-old boy straight up serving beer to people.
Yeah,
Like,
and he had like a
His
definitely
voice
did
sounds
not
the
hold
exact
back.
same too.
Yeah, he would use words that like no kid of the age that he looked would use.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
I love that he just leaned into it. He's like, fuck it, dude. Like, I'm just going to have fun with it.
Well, what else are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, right?
Dude, you know that he was like a hacker? Bro, he was like a hacker, and he worked in like Manhattan, and he like did all the fucking computer systems and shit like that for like some fucking accounting firm in the city. And like he's like, none of these people knew. He's like, they're all like just, you know, basically like he was saying like they're all fucking like mad boomers or like even older than that when he started working there, and they had no idea. And he's like, I would just like go in there, and like at some point he's like, I would just roll in whenever. He's like 8 or he's like 7 or 7:30 was like too early for me to go in, and like I was just killing it. My first like 3 days, he started 3 days after 9/11 at this place in Manhattan. And he said that like the first fucking shift that he went into ended up having to stay there all night because like a bunch of like shit had happened, and he was struggling to come in on time. And so the boss came up to him, and he thought he was gonna get fired. And so the boss was like, yeah, like, you know, Andrew, we'd really like to know, like, you don't like to get in here on time. Like what time would be good for you to come in? He's like, I don't know, like 11. And he's like, I was thinking I was gonna get fired, so it didn't matter. He's like, all right, but you're gonna have to work later than you would if you had to came in at 7 o'clock or whatever. And he was like, okay. And so then he's like just started to work. He's like, I was there by myself so much. He's like, even while I was there, all these people had no idea what was going on. And he's like, I'd be like fucking like hacking, doing all sorts of fucking crazy shit from like the fucking computers at the office while I was getting paid, like just doing all this stuff. It was fucking hilarious. He said that he came home once and there was 3 FBI agents in his fucking family room when he was still living at his parents' house in the fucking like mid 90s because him and his friends were fucking stealing AOL accounts. Like I was like, yeah, that's so crazy. Like, can you imagine? You wouldn't know what he looked like. You just like roll in there, you're like, yo, this fucking like 6-year-old kid's fucking pulling this shit off. Like, that's crazy. But it was definitely a flash from the past. And like it made me think like there are people that would have got famous and maintained some level of fame, or like at least they took the fame that they had and turned it into success and all these different things. And by the sounds of it, like James is saying, like he's really big on Twitch. So like if you didn't do all that stuff before, you probably wouldn't have been really big on Twitch. Or maybe you still would have. I think that people would still find it comical or enjoyable to like watch someone that does look very young, like do the shit that he does.
It's like T-Pain, bro. It's like he fell off for a while and just kind of like disappeared. And now all of a sudden, dude, T-Pain is fucking killing it, bro. as far as, you know, his Twitch goes. Like he just did this big deal where he pretty much sold his entire catalog, bro, and like made a big bag, bro.
You mean like music?
Yeah, his music catalog, and made like a huge bag doing it. And the way he went about it is like he's still able to like from the way he made it sound is like he probably did the best fucking possible thing for himself when he made that deal, to where he still has opportunities to move forward and continue to do other things like outside of that, as well as with this new acquisition of this fucking money, to where like he's able to do like all this other stuff with like his Nappy Boy Automotive, where he's got like this whole like fucking like car thing he's got going with like he's got his own drift car where he's actually like competing and shit, and he's putting on like these events and stuff like that, and then all these different things that he's doing as far as his Twitch stream goes, his podcast, his marketing deals. Like, dude, did you see the thing that he did with Fortnite, where like they had like that skin the Big Dill or whatever?
Yeah.
And like the Big Deal came out with like a song and like dissed T-Pain in the song, like, and it was like part of the marketing. So like T-Pain like did a whole like stream on his Twitch where he literally streamed from beginning to the end him creating a diss track back to Big Deal.
Oh, really?
Dude, and it is honestly pretty fucking hard, dude. It's crazy because like he does that shit all the time too, where he'll just go on stream and just make songs, like from producing the beats to the lyrics, and just like watching his process, bro. I've sat here multiple times and watched him like make songs, and it's just crazy to see how he does it, because like he just sits there, plays the beat, and then just starts humming some sort of like melody or something, and then he's next thing you know he starts saying words here and there, and then he stops, goes back, and then says a few lines, and then he's like literally just building it line by line like throughout the whole thing. And then every now and then he looks at chat, and then every now and then chat will put in like, oh, you know what, that's a fucking good line, and then he'll throw in a line that someone suggested to him from the fucking. It's actually pretty fucking interesting to watch, dude.
That actually sounds legit. There's definitely so many ways that you can make money, and I think that like once you are famous, you at least have the audience to start. Doesn't mean they're going to stick with you, but like you have that huge jump compared to so many other people. And obviously he's taken that and just ran with it, and now like doing even better than he probably had been doing.
Oh yeah.
He gets to do all that stuff from his house. He doesn't have to fucking go on like some fucking world tour or like fucking be doing all this stuff. Like,
that's the funny thing is, even when he's on tour, he streams.
Oh, he still tours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When you have a catalog like T-Pain, you don't stop doing shows, bro.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he's still being featured on music now. You know what I mean? So it's like
the amount of production he's done for other people who've made platinum records.
Yeah, it's like you know how many songs he's written for people that he's not on?
Oh, I'm sure a lot.
Dude, like, if selling his catalog is just the music that he himself sang,
bro,
and he still makes royalties on everything he produced, he's still making bank for life.
Dude, not only, but I'm sure he's still probably making something on the back end of the catalog that he sold, you know, with the however his deal worked out, to where he might be still getting some sort of percentage or whatever. But anyway, dude, there's this one, I was watching this one video where he's like just going through like backlogs of just like songs that he's got saved on hard drives. Dude, he has a song that he did and like they wrote together with Usher and Michael Jackson.
I believe it.
Really?
Yeah. And I like he plays like a snippet of it, and you're like, fuck, dude. So it's like if that's something that's on the cutting room floor, think of what other stuff that he's probably just got on a hard drive somewhere.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Or like, dude, like there's
that shit.
There's one thing. There's a newer song recently that like T-Pain did a while back. Someone found, put it out in like 2023, did okay or whatever. And then like this past year, Glorilla, who's like a big artist now at the moment, took that same hook from that song with T-Pain and put it out now, and it's one of the biggest songs at the moment. So now, not only did he get to go out and tour when the first person put it out in 2023 and go do appearances with her, now he's taking that same song out with a completely different artist and doing appearances with her doing that song. Because, dude, if you forget, bro, there was a run in like the 2000s where like T-Pain was one of the biggest artists, but it was without even putting out his own album, because he was featured on everybody's albums, to where it's like he didn't have enough time to focus on his own music, because with the touring schedules that he has, he's like, one city I'm out doing a song with Rick Ross, the next night I'm out doing a song with Lil Wayne or whoever else he's got features on. He's literally just going boom, 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 bouncing around doing all these different shows because he's connected with all these songs that are super big at the moment. It's kind of crazy.
Holy shit. If your contract is, X per appearance, yeah, you're making, it's worth it to you to do every show, every night. Just for one song.
The shitty part about that is when that was going on is when he went through all of his financial shit. And then as of recently, he's made a tremendous comeback, and he's probably making way more money now than he ever did doing music. You know what I mean? Just with Twitch alone, and whatever sort of deals he's got going on with that. And then he's got the music and shit that he can just add on top of that.
Yeah.
I
mean,
hope you're all right.
It's crazy to think that like 4% of the artists on Spotify received 98% of the royalties. So like it just gives you an idea of like how hard it is to make a big chunk of change off of just streams alone. So the way that T-Pain diversifies is fucking amazing. And he's cool as hell.
Well, like we were
funny
talking
shit.
about, right? There's so many ways to make money. Like even just back to like the comedy stuff. Like I've watched a lot of it over like the last month, and like so many of the people are talking about like how they can't believe how much success has come and like how profitable like podcasting is. And they're like, man, it's so crazy. Like Stavros was saying, like in an episode I watched not that long ago, he's like, dude, I've literally had the opportunity because of like podcasting. He's like, I've employed like 3 or 4 of my friends. Like my best friend is like the producer, and like he's providing for his family. And he's like, there's so much money in it. It's crazy. And he was talking about it with Theo Vaughn, who also is making probably a lot of fucking money from doing the podcast. And like, all those guys don't make anything from YouTube because like they don't fucking censor out every swear word, and so like they get demonetized or whatever. But there's so many other avenues for them to make the money, like through the sponsorships that they always like have commercials for or whatever.
If you
It's
ever
like,
watch those podcasts, Chris, you ever notice for the first 5 minutes there's absolutely no cursing?
some of them, other ones they're like instantly they're like, yeah, we're not getting monetized.
Yeah, it depends on the episodes, but like Theo, for instance, like they're really big on it.
Yeah, they're
Because they
pretty on
literally
top of
have
it.
people that are on top of that shit just so they can keep things monetized.
Which makes sense because like they get enough views on those podcasts that like they're literally they'd be losing a lot of money. Like the one that he did with fucking Donald Trump has like 50 million views or something like that. Like there's like crazy shit. Like the average podcast might have like 3-4 million after like 2 months. Like, dude, that's like actual revenue. If you didn't get monetized for that, like I don't know what you get paid on YouTube for like those kind of views, but like that's a reasonable amount of fucking views. They fucking definitely hammer the commercials to you as well. If you watch like an hour-long fucking thing, you get destroyed by fucking commercials. I do anyways.
Bro.
I don't have the YouTube Premium or anything.
On the YouTube ad front, talk about getting destroyed by the ads. I watched a video the other day on my smart TV upstairs on the television YouTube app, I could not believe how hard I got hit. A straight
Oh, it's
90
horrible.
seconds of unskippable ads, and I was 5 ads deep before I could finally skip and go back to a video. I was shocked as hell.
Dude, it's bad. I was watching a podcast today and I was like, so on one screen I had a podcast on and the other screen I was playing Rocket League. And in one game, which is 5 minutes of playtime. So like when there's a goal, there's a stoppage in the clock, whatever. So at most it could have took 10 minutes. Dude, there was 3 separate fucking ads that I had to fucking skip, and they're all double ads. They'll be like the first one you got to watch 10 seconds, and then you can skip it. And there'll be like a little thing on the top, and it'll be like, watch the next whole ad and have like a fucking less of a chance of something coming through. So then I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll try that. No, dude, still just every fuck. It was like 3 separate things in a fucking game that took max 10 minutes. I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, they're really trying to get people to buy YouTube Premium, because I assume that you don't have to watch those if you have YouTube Premium.
No, there's no ads at all.
But I also don't know how much that costs. So I'm like,
$20.
yeah, see, like that. I think I'd rather watch commercials and just like internally fucking be so angry about it.
I think of it like this, right? If I was paying for cable, I'd be watching ads, and I'd be paying for cable. So I'm paying for my internet, and if I have to watch YouTube and skip some ads, most of the time it doesn't bother me. And I do watch a lot of long form, 30 to a minute to hour long content, so I totally sympathize with your pain. Because like when I watch a lot of that long form content, sometimes the ads can be brutal. The one thing I do know is that obviously some of that is creator set, some of it is YouTube set. It depends on the channel, you know what I mean? Like some creators do set where their ads are, some don't, and that can affect it. And you'll never know. I can say that apparently YouTube has taken enough heat for their end of dropping ads that are disruptive of content, like right in the middle of something that just fucks everything up, that they are trying to be more cognizant of that and not have their algorithms drop ads in those kind of places and look for something that like maybe a natural place where things are kind of quiet for a second to put an ad. So at least that would be nice.
Like, yeah, like sometimes I actually find that like when I'm watching these podcasts on YouTube that I'll get like an ad and it'll be like at the spot where they're doing an ad read. So it'll be like you're watching an ad read, and then the minute that the ad read's done, it'll be like the YouTube fucking commercials or whatever.
Ad. Yeah, and I can live with that, but like right in the middle of the joke, like he hasn't even gotten to the punchline, like to hit the ad.
For some of them, Chris, what I would say to do if you want to kind of get alleviated from that is some of those podcasts, bro, do video on Spotify.
That's true.
I've noticed that.
So a lot of ones that I know that do the video on Spotify, I just watch them on Spotify because then you just only get hit with the ads that they have in the podcast.
Yeah.
And not get hit with a bunch of fucking extra ones.
That's the other thing is that, you know, the ad read they're doing is probably paying them.
Oh no, I think that's
the ones where they're making more the money.
Yeah, like I know some of the like I watch a lot of the cooking content, and a lot of these cooking channels, those sponsors are how these people can afford the crazy like Wagyu steaks and shit like that to cook with. So it's like I know once you get when you hit the point that you can get those people, and I've looked at the numbers, I've seen what it takes, and like to even start, like Manscaped doesn't even talk to you until you're hitting like 25,000 followers on YouTube. And then Manscaped will be like, "Hey, how you doing? We'll offer you an ad once in a while."
Yeah, dude, like, and that's the thing, right? Some of these podcasts that like I've been watching, like they have some pretty big sponsors, like pretty big. Like Stavros has like Twisted Tea, and he'll like do like a whole segment sometimes on just Twisted Tea, and I'm like, The dude's shit gets like 2 million views in the first bit. Yeah, keep it twisted. Fucking.
It's time for this week's twisted segment of the week. Keep it twisted.
And it honestly, like, I don't think that comes cheap. That's not like we gave him $250 a podcast. Nah, I don't think you're getting just that. I think it's more than that because there's a lot of people that are consuming. You know what I mean?
I definitely think it's more than a couple cases of Twisted Teas. That's for sure.
Yeah. Because like some of the comedy podcasts or like the comedians that are doing podcasts, I guess they're not all just comedy, but some of them, like, their ad reads are like nobody's there. They're just like sitting in front of the camera, kind of chilling. So like Theo Vaughn does it, or like Stavros does it, and they'll just be like chilling and like they're like keep it pretty much on what it's supposed to be. And then you could watch like Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast,
dude,
and like their absolute abortion fucking commercials. Like I wouldn't even want to pay them because it's like nothing is.
They'll like read the copy and like they'll read out shit that they're not supposed to read. Like like they'll be doing like BetterHelp, and they're like, give personal experience of how therapy has helped you. And like instead of just like giving their story, they read that out and be like, okay, well, or like they'll be doing like a Mountain Dew. Like I love when Matt does them because he does that type of shit a lot. Like Mountain Dew, grab one and crack one open with your buddies, and chug them while you grab each other's penises or some shit. Like he just says wild shit while he's like doing ad reads, and then like literally like reads word for word what's on the copy, where it's like, probably shit that's like in parentheses or like fucking asterisks. So we're like explaining what to do at that point.
Raise bottle.
Yeah. Raise bottle and clink glass.
But like it's funny though. Brutal. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I do think that it's funny. But that they're making a bunch of money.
Oh, like, yeah, for sure.
Obviously I'm okay with that. I'm actually curious though, like how much it would actually cost. Because like it like I said, it's big time fucking companies that are doing shit with like a lot of these people. And like I wonder if it's like $10,000 or like an episode.
You'd be surprised,
or whatever,
bro, what they make on an ad read. Especially some of the bigger names, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, because like when you're hitting a weekly play count in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands to even a million plus every week on new episodes, like that is a lot of ears and eyes to put on a product. Again, if you think about 8 billion people on the planet, and if you have 1 million people who tune into your podcast every week and listen to the new episode that week when it drops, like that's a big deal. That is
so like just plenty. For example, right? Like Stavros put out one 2 days ago. It's at 122,000 views. It's not like it's millions, but like that's a lot of people that it can look. And so like you're like, yeah, it's not going to cost hundreds of dollars to get something on there. It's hard to get in front of 120,000+ people in 2 days.
100%. It's
and like if he had a bigger guest, like I've never heard of this dude before. It obviously doesn't mean that he's not very successful and popular, but like it doesn't have crazy amount of views. But if you look at one that's like maybe a month old and has somebody that I recognize and like I know has some level of like success attached to them as well, there's 800,000 views.
Exactly.
In less than a month. Right? So like you're like, oh, okay.
Those numbers all mean a lot. Those are a lot of eyes and ears seeing and hearing about a product. So like it is entirely worth a good chunk of change to get, 800,000 people to have heard about your product. For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. And let's think about the fact that like television advertising has historically been a very expensive endeavor for companies. So if you remove that and use that marketing budget in other ways, like sponsoring podcasting, shit, those millions of dollars can translate into a lot of podcast sponsorships. I mean, shit, I even know about a local band out here. They're just one of those bar bands that, cruises around the region and plays top 40 covers and stuff. They're sponsored by Truly. Truly bought them a tour van to get their gear and the band around to shows around the region and supplies them with Truly product and gives them a little bit of extra here and there. And they pimp Truly while they're on the road playing bars and doing top 40 covers.
Yeah, just like I mean, I guess this is it's one of those things that like I think of success, right? And like how certain people can hit levels of success that honestly it seems like yeah, they work really hard for it. Like I'm not taking anything away, but you're like once you're at that point of success, it's like man, you really have to try to fuck it up to kind of get to that point of like losing everything. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you have to do a couple of things that are smart, that's not crazy. Like to me, it's not crazy. It's like just keep on, making reasonable decisions, and you're probably gonna be all right.
Yeah, that's it. Make reasonable decisions.
But yeah, and like things that you think of, and you're like, yo, that's crazy. Like, obviously, it'd be the biggest long shot ever. But like, dude, if some company was like, yo, we're gonna fucking rent you guys a van for fucking 2 weeks, and you guys are just gonna fucking travel around in our van and like go to some fucking cannabis expos or whatever, and they paid for the gas, they paid for fucking the transportation and like some stipends or per diems or whatever, that'd be wild as hell, bro. But like people get that shit done. Like there's people that do that stuff.
100%. 100%. It is a thing. It's I mean, I used to work when I was in the industry with a cannabis influencer who he was clever enough to use his position in the industry and his knowledge that he had to really build an excellent social media brand that he was then able to turn into a clothing brand and has been able to continue to build from there to the point that like he's been doing endorsement deals with Puffco and a handful of other great cannabis brands, getting to go out and attend huge events. He was able to go to Raw and their factory in Spain and see the whole process of raw rolling papers and how it all gets done and made, all that whole process. And it's all because he was just smart enough to see like how to use his position in the marketing department in a cannabis company and take that same work he was doing there and apply it to himself and create a whole brand around the same thing he was already doing for work. He's literally able to take the work he was doing and everything that's on the cutting room floor, he was able to take and use the B-roll and turn it into his own product and put that content out. And like, it's sick. He's killing it.
And it's smart, right? Like that's just, yeah, man. I don't know. I guess like the trend of there's so many ways you can make money these days, and it's like it is genuinely true. And if you have any level of influence or popularity, like there's so many opportunities that just get like thrust upon you, or you can do things that are just money making ventures or just ways to even like help you grow your brand, like all these different things, man. It is kind of cool. But it's not like it's simple. Like it's not like anybody can fucking do it.
I mean, if you just keep good care of your feet, you can get yourself on Wiki Feet and you can make some quick cash. No love for that joke. All right.
No,
moving on.
I was just sitting here thinking. I was like, would you guys ever do that? Would you guys start a wiki feet and sell pictures of your feet?
I mean, I'm saying from a perspective, this has been my perspective on it because I've had this question asked of me before. I think if I literally found out there was a market for it, I probably would.
Dude,
'Cause,
I wouldn't
like,
give a fuck. Why wouldn't I?
Exactly. You don't know whose feet those are, but if you find them attractive, have at it, baby.
Oh no, yeah. Okay. I would never use it, but if I was like, you were asking, would I put my feet up for money?
That's what Sean was answering. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
What did you think? Sean was on wiki feet?
Well, the way that he like answered that, it almost sounded like
he just said like he like they don't know whose feet they are, so like it's not like they know they're my feet.
Right.
Got
and
you.
at the end of the day,
Yeah,
like,
I would be the exact same. I wouldn't give a fuck. Be like,
if
"You're gonna
I
pay me
found
money for my
out that
feet?"
like
Go.
people were like, "Hey, your feet are attractive. You could make money on Wiki Feet." If I had like a few people be like, "Yo, you could do that," fuck it, I'd give it a shot. Why not? I don't know anybody with a foot fetish that has looked at my feet and been like, "Your feet are hot." So
Yeah, but it's a thing though, man. Like,
I know it's a thing.
no, but I'm even saying like, even if no one's ever told you that your feet are hot, there could be people out there that think your feet are hot, and it just has to get
Because
out.
dude, let me tell you what, bro. There's plenty of people probably on OnlyFans that have never been told they're hot that are on OnlyFans that probably shouldn't be on OnlyFans.
But
You know
they
what I'm
probably
saying?
do make some money.
Exactly.
Although, like the foot thing, and you're like, I've never been told that. It just for some reason it like popped in my brain Seinfeld when George was gonna be like a hand model. It's like one day no one ever really said anything to him about his hands, and then one day someone's like, "Wow, like your hands." I think it was Kramer. He's like, "Your hands are just like so beautiful." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a hand model, I guess." And he goes and he's like gonna have this opportunity to be like rich and famous from being a hand model and all that stuff. And like that's honestly. That is kind of even what like OnlyFans is to me too. It's like somebody at some point was just like, "You should start an OnlyFans. Like you're hot." Or some people might be like, "Well, you have nothing else going for you. Like maybe you can get an OnlyFans and do some questionable stuff for some people, and fill that fucking niche for the market." And then they do it. Like maybe they want to see like some woman in a trailer that's pregnant and barefoot cooking. Guess what? This woman that's had 5 kids already, she's like, man, I could have been making that money the whole time.
I know this. I had a friend who, pre OnlyFans being a thing, she was a cam girl, and she said what was interesting is that a lot of the like best paying stuff she got as a cam girl wasn't even sexual. Like there's a guy that all he wanted her to do was ridicule him. She just had to sit there and laugh at him and make fun of him.
Like the dudes that like to get kicked in the nuts, dude.
Right.
Everybody's got their thing. But
Like,
you ain't gonna catch me doing it.
yeah, like, hey, do you, boo boo? You know?
Yeah, like
It's
no
it.
one's here to kink shame.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
just
Right,
'cause
exactly.
Because yeah, dude,
Maybe
like,
on
there's
some
so many
things, but
Listen,
Yeah.
what if kink
If
shaming
what you're
is the
doing
kink?
is illegal, I will
Yeah.
definitely shame you. But like, if you want to hurt yourself to some degree by getting kicked in the balls, or like you want to just be like belittled by somebody or whatever, like that's on you,
Yeah.
man. Like
Do you,
I'm not
baby.
going to tell you not to do it.
Like,
I might
that was
not
the best thing
understand
for
it,
her.
but I don't
right?
need to.
yeah.
Like, she makes a few $100 to just sit there for half an hour on a Zoom call and laugh at this guy and make fun of him. And he gets what he wants. She gets what she wants. And it was easy money. She's like, there was one guy, nothing truly sexual. He just wanted me to spank myself. Just, you've been a bad girl. Give yourself a spanking. Like, it's easy money. Like, I at that point, it's like, how do you argue with that? Like,
Dude,
she
speaking of this,
could make more money in 2 hours on the internet than I could make in an entire week working a 40-hour job, you know?
Yeah,
dude,
like leaving
speaking
my
of
house,
this,
and
bro,
everything.
it's just kind of like giving me flashes. Like recently, this is kind of like changing subject slightly, but also on the same subject. I started watching Game of Thrones,
Oh,
I
You
know.
went down the hole.
I'm late,
You
bro.
went down that
Crazy
rabbit
look.
hole, huh?
But dude, let me tell you what, bro. As far as like just weird sexual things going on, bro, there is some shit that goes down in this show, bro. That I'm like, holy fuck, dude. Like, obviously, like it's taking place in a different time. It's obviously a fucking show. It's all completely fake. Like, whatever. But dude, even watching it, knowing all that, there's still certain things that happen that I'm still kind of like, oh, I don't even really want to look, bro. I'm like, oh fuck. Also, with all that aside, great show, dude. I understand the hype and why everybody's into it. You know, if you're into those sorts of things, you know, like knights and dragons and
Like a
wizards
fantasy and
like all
whatever.
that kind of shit, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty
The
Was
fucking.
that show
storytelling
like?
is
Was that a
great.
broadcast? Like, was that on
It was
TV?
on HBO.
Okay. So what is so when someone says HBO, it's like home box office, like, and it was on cable, but you had to pay for it.
Yeah, that was a pay channel.
So like, it's not a streaming service. Now it's just on streaming services, or is it just on
HBO
Netflix?
is a streaming service.
Oh, HBO is now, and it has been for a long time, or
It has been ever since like the streaming service thing became a thing when like Disney Plus and Hulu and everybody started doing their own streaming service. HBO did the same thing.
Oh, okay. Well, was it on that, or was it before that?
I'm
Because
not
I have
sure.
no idea
Dude,
how
there's
old even
8
those.
seasons, so I'm sure
So
it's
it goes
at
back
least,
pretty far.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it goes back.
It was on TV first. Like you
Like
had
I'm
to
sure it's
have
probably
HBO.
like you had to have like the HBO channel when it first dropped, and
Yeah.
then like obviously over time it just got ported to the streaming service.
Because
But
yeah, it like started in like the 2010s, right?
yeah, like
it's
there's
that old.
characters that I'm seeing in this, bro, that I know for a fact are like way older than they are that they are in the fucking show. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, I forgot this is was fucking made a while back, bro. And like there's certain characters that like this show was their first, or like certain actors where like this was like their breakout thing.
Yeah, like Peter
You know what I mean?
Dinklage.
No,
I remember
Peter
ever seeing that
Dinklage
guy.
he'd been doing stuff beforehand, but like he didn't become like as much of an like A-list guy, like you know what I mean?
Okay.
But like he'd been acting and stuff before that, but like it was like one of Jason Momoa's like first big things,
Oh, okay.
and like seeing him in that, and like there's a couple other people like Amelia Clark, who's like one of the main characters, that was like one of her like breakout things. And then there's like a couple other people too, just like throughout it. That I'm just like, oh shit, like I've seen them in other stuff since like this has come out. It's like one of the daughters of one of the guys, she's like real young in the show, but like I remember seeing her in like the X-Men Days of Futures Past, where she plays Jean, and she's older, obviously, in the X-Men movie because it is filmed way after obviously Game of Thrones started. But like
Yeah.
I never knew, I hadn't seen her in anything when she was this young. So it's like, oh, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Because I'd seen her in this big blockbuster movie, not knowing that she had been in Game of Thrones when she was younger. You know what I mean? So like that was kind of cool. But dude, the
So
one thing I really like
From
about it,
2011 to 2019.
yeah, the one thing I really like about it is like what Sean's saying is the storytelling is fucking really good, dude. And like the one thing I will say is like if you're somebody who's not like doesn't get like locked into a story and like you have a hard time following things, and I could definitely see how this would have been something that would have been way harder to follow watching it as it's coming out like every week compared to like binge watching, because obviously if you're binge watching it you remember what happened from the last episode into the next one because you literally just finished it.
Yeah.
You're
Or even if
able
it's
to-
like a day, you're
able to
like,
still
hold
keep
on.
things kind of together. But dude, there's so many characters and so many like side stories that are happening alongside. Like I don't really know what the main, like there's not necessarily really a main character. Like there's main characters. Like
Mhm.
at a certain point in the show you're revolving around this certain person, and then all of a sudden it cuts to this person in this different part of the fucking area, and then all of a sudden once that happens it cuts to this part, but they're all intertwined in the big scheme of the show. if that makes sense.
yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
it makes
Like,
sense.
Following like 5 different stories that all
Yeah.
affect the main story, so to
And
speak.
and it's kind of cool because like for someone like myself, I'm one of those people, like as I'm watching things, I'm trying to put stuff together, like before obviously there's anything being said. So it's like
Yeah,
if something happens and like I kind of have an inkling that that might tie into something later on, like as I'm watching, I'm like, okay. Or like there may be a certain character that pops up and he just gives me a certain vibe. I'm like, okay, I'm keeping an eye on this guy because I feel like he's got an integral part to like the story or something that's about to happen or something like that. Or like knowing that like this character is tied to this character, even though they haven't directly said it, but through what's going on, like I'm like, oh, I see what might be happening here. You know what I mean? And like kind of being a detective of the story as it's happening and figuring out how like on point I am. Sometimes I'm pretty good
I
at it.
like
It's
doing
like
that stuff too, for sure.
sometimes I'm pretty on point, and then sometimes I get thrown for a loop. And when that happens, I actually enjoy it because I'm like, okay, not as predictable as I thought. I like that. I like that this isn't exactly where I thought things were going. But then there's also times where I'm like, I like that. Cause like because it may have also taken me a little bit to get to that point. You know what I mean? So it's cool. I like it. I'm only in like halfway through or like 2 or 3 episodes into season 2. So I've got a ways to go.
Yeah, you got a lot to consume still.
But it's been fun.
A lot of fucked up shit still to happen.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, dude, that's why I honestly like. So I've never been a huge fantasy guy. Like the only fantasy thing, and I don't even know if it's fantasy, but like maybe it's fantasy. That I ever liked that was long was Harry Potter, right? Like I enjoyed Harry Potter, and I guess it's fantasy to some degree, but
Yeah.
it's not quite the
It's
same.
fantasy.
It's just not like
Um,
that. It's just in a different time period.
Yeah, and I obviously liked that, and I read it by myself, and like I had some friends that had read some, or like were like we would talk about it, whatever. But one of the shows that was on really long, I used to watch it at like my friend Mark and Alexis's house all the time, and it was The Walking Dead. And like I know that tons of people watch The Walking Dead. Lots of people probably never finished The Walking Dead. I have not finished it. I haven't watched the
Yeah,
last
like
season.
for me, I'm
But-
not into zombies. So like
Well,
that's
see,
why
like
I
for
watch
me,
The
like it
Walking
wasn't
Dead.
necessarily the zombies, I guess. I like the story. It was interesting, like, and the relationships that people kind of had
Yeah,
within that
see,
story.
and that's exactly what I would tell you. Watch Game of Thrones for that exact reason. But I know you're gonna say, well, I'm not into like dragons and knights and shit.
No, man, I was turned off of it like probably in like 2012 or 13, and like because some friends were watching it, and I was like at like somebody's house, and we were just like chilling, and I just it didn't do it for me. Maybe one day I'll watch it. It's
Dude,
not
because
going
I'll
to
tell you what,
disappear,
bro, the
but
story is fucking great.
But dude, I used to love watching The Walking Dead with people because it would be like easier for me to remember everything that happened because like we would get super like stoned, and then I would stay at their house for like an hour after.
bro?
Oh no. But I'm just saying it was like you're doing that by yourself, right? You're following this along by yourself. I liked being with people, and then the second it was over, we would be like, "Yo, so what do you think is going to happen?" Oh, and you do what you're doing, but with other people, and it would like help me remember because I was keeping up with it. We were watching a new episode every week. I would drive to their house and we'd watch it, and then we'd have like that conversation. And like part of why I like the show so much is because there was so much to talk about, and like that's why I followed along with it.
Because I've tried
so many-
watching Walking Dead, bro, and it's just the zombie aspect of it. It's just like I'm like, I'm just not. I'm good.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I don't think that I was ever like really a zombie person, but like there was something about the show. I think it was just the characters that did it for me, and like the way that I digested it. Because I watched like probably they started watching it, and then I think season 2, I had watched all season 1, and then I went for like season 2 through like season 7 every Sunday watching it at their house.
Yeah, like
and it
it's
was like a ritual.
for like
me.
Game of Thrones for like me right now. It's like obviously I'm digging the characters, but I'm more so into the show. My Canadian came out there. You hear it? The show.
The show, bud.
The show, don't you know, bud? Or maybe my Wisconsin. But the lore of of like the what surrounds the show is what I'm super into. Is like how all these different places in this world that they've created for Game of Thrones, with like the North and the South and the different houses and like the different kingdoms and all the other different elements that are involved with it, like how they're all tying those different elements in of, because obviously I've seen different things like, like Lord of the Rings and those types of things that still kind of have these elements, but how they're doing it is slightly different from things that I've seen in the past, but also similar enough to where obviously I recognize what's going on. But like it's really interesting, just the whole fantasy aspect with like,
and it's like based off of books too, right? Like
yeah. So it's like the whole lore behind it, because like at the beginning of it, there's talks of dragons and stuff, but you don't really see anything. So it's like learning the history of how those tie into like this realm, as they call it, because they just pretty much call it the realm, consisting of north, south, island, whatever islands and all that other shit. But it's just crazy, dude. I'm really digging it. And obviously I'm super, super behind. I know everybody in the comments is probably like, dude, what the fuck? You're sleeping on it. And also I know the last season doesn't end the way that everybody wants it to. So I already know that I may not be up for like the most fantastic finale. But
dude, if that stopped you from getting a bunch of enjoyment out of it, like that's crazy.
Well,
I remember people told me that the end of fucking Breaking Bad was bad, and I was like,
well, here's my answer to that thing. How many season finales of shows have you liked? Not very many, because that means the show's over. So obviously you're gonna feel some type of way.
Good point.
And that may be some sort of bias to it. So I'm going to go into it a little bit open-minded, because I've also heard from some people that are like, you know what? I actually didn't mind it. It tied up the story well. I think it was actually pretty good. You know what I mean? But obviously everybody wants this big, extravagant sort of finale sort of thing. But sometimes you can't tie up a series.
And everybody wants different things to tie up too.
Exactly.
To some degree.
You know what I mean? You
can't
may want it to
everyone happy.
Lean this way versus this way, or have this character end up with this character, or whatever. But at the end of the day,
I didn't want this person to die. Yeah. Like, what's going on? I mean, you can't make everyone happy, I guess. But see, like the only shows that I can remember the ends of that I enjoyed were like more sitcoms, not like more serious, like drama-y, action-y, thriller-y, whatever. Like I like more sitcom endings than any regular show.
And with like Game of Thrones too, they got to the point where they ran out of book material to build the show off of, so they had to start creating their own story. So like at a certain point, it's probably gonna fall off, because you don't have that original writer bringing that same voice to these characters that you know and love, and you have somebody else trying to emulate it and create something that may not be as well done as the earlier parts. You know what I mean? But hey, either way, I'm up for it. I got 6 more seasons. I'm stoked, dude. I've been like binge watching like 3 or 4 episodes.
Ton more crazy story, ton more crazy shit, ton more incredible filmmaking. Because like that's the other.
I like how it's shot. It's shot very well too, dude.
Yeah, like the filmmaking on it is very, very good. It's not my style of story, but my wife was really into it, and like anytime I walk through, I'm like, God damn, like the filmmaking is great.
I like the set design and the costumes and like everything.
You know what I also wonder, James, like about that show, because you're like what you just said, right? Like it kind of went beyond where like the original story, and like they had to add more, like kind of do whatever. Makes me wonder like how many shows should never go as far as they go, but the popularity makes it like they have to.
Oh, there's so many, dude. Because like I've even like
Walking Dead's definitely like that. Like,
because I've listened to plenty of podcasts with people that were like, on big sitcoms or big series and stuff at certain points, and they talk about like they kind of know when the series is coming to an end before it actually does, because they can kind of just feel the material is just not hitting the same. It's harder to come up with the story. You know, it's like this has already kind of been fleshed out as far as we can go. So there's not much we can go on this end, you know, or this and that. So it's like you can kind of tell when they're sort of getting to the point where they're going to wrap up, or they don't even necessarily know if they're going to be making another season or not until they're about halfway through the seasons sometimes. So it's like at that point, it's just like, okay, now we just got to fucking bust our ass to fucking make something, or they get cut halfway through what they originally thought they're going to. So they have to tie up a bunch of loose ends to kind of help wrap the story up real quick, because they just don't have the time to flesh it. Exactly. And that's when you get those situations where certain things may not end the way you want to, because unfortunately they just don't have the time to flesh the story out as well as they thought they were going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like I was like watching an interview with Danny McBride, and he was talking about like some of that just in itself. Like he's like, people just bring things on for too long, and they're like making too much money that they can't justify going further, or they can't justify canceling it. So then they start adding things, and it just starts to deteriorate storylines. It makes like everything feel bad. And he was talking about how he's like got this show called The Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, I listened to that podcast with Theo.
Yeah, dude, and what he was saying was like, man, there's needs to be more people like this guy. Like he needs to do that shit. You know, he needs to push that on other people, because there's so many things that I'm like, yo, why? I would have been way more happy if like The Walking Dead ended at 7 seasons or something. Like, why did it have to go to double digits? Like, it just made no sense. And like then I was like, man, I could have definitely had another couple of seasons of Eastbound and Down, because I fucking love the show. But you know what? Maybe it wouldn't have been as good at the end, and maybe I wouldn't have liked it. And so like maybe he pulled the plug on that. Maybe somebody else did. I have no idea. But at least then it lets you plan for a proper ending too, man. And like I like things to get fucking full circled.
Well,
You know
dude,
what I mean?
that
I don't like it when shit just gets canceled or shit fucking drives
and
me
one
crazy.
thing that I kind of think can happen too sometimes with like, especially like series that run for like a really, really long time and have multiple seasons, is like at a certain point, certain people just kind of get like, at least for me, like I can only see certain people as certain characters because I've only seen them that way for like 8 seasons, to where it's like it's hard to see them do other things, because it's like I'm so used to them being this specific character. Not only that, but it also locks certain people in to making this series to where it doesn't give them the opportunities to branch out and do other things where they probably would have been way better suited for. But like Sean was kind of saying, or even you were saying, is like they get so just locked in because they're making such good money doing this series that it's a shoo-in. It's like guaranteed money. If I
like,
stay on this
how are you
fucking
going to turn down $1 million? You know?
How do I fucking, you know, say no to this guaranteed bag to make to this, I don't know what could possibly be bag. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of hard to do. So it's like, it's almost kind of like a catch-22 where it's like, fuck, you want to make a show fucking great, but you don't want to make it too great to where it ends up, like you're saying, going too long to where it actually goes past its expiration date. You know what I mean?
There's like not many shows that don't like go past their expiration date. Like I can't think of a ton. Like one that I can think of that I still think is good, and it's been around for fucking ever with people, is It's Always Sunny. Like I still think that new It's Always Sunny is hilarious. They're in probably like season 17 or 18 or some shit. I don't even know. It's been on.
But that's one of those shows where you can tell they continuously try to push the envelope and do different shit.
Yeah, and because
You know
like
what I mean?
the people that are acting in it are also like the people that create it and write it and all that stuff, it probably makes it a little bit simpler. But like, I mean, yeah, you have shit like The Simpsons, obviously, but if like Matt Groening, he's still alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he died, like, is it going to be as good? Who knows?
I mean,
I don't
The
know,
Simpsons
but, like,
isn't even that good now.
I haven't watched.
And I'm a huge Simpsons fan, and
Yeah, I haven't watched it in over 10 years.
like it is not what it used to be. Like there is a great section of Simpsons fans that would say that peak Simpsons ended at like season 10, and I'm probably gonna get
So, like, around
chastised by some of those
2000?
people. Yeah, like
after the new millennium, they're like Simpsons really
like,
fucking fell off. Dude.
there's a subset that thinks it ended at like 10. There's a subset that thinks anything pre the movie. So like,
Yeah, I completely forgot about the Simpsons movie.
I honestly know I've seen it for sure. There's no way I haven't, but I would not be able to tell you when it came out. No chance.
Oh no.
I would guess after the 90s is what I would guess.
Oh, yeah.
it was early
Like that-
2000s because I was either
Early aughts.
Yeah,
Here,
I was either
I'll
just
look.
just out of high school or still, but
I'd
close
say
to
like
graduating.
around
2007.
Oh, earlier than
Sorry.
I thought.
I
Okay.
didn't know you were going to guess then.
No,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
because-
like 2010-ish.
The Simpsons movie.
Spider
It came
Pig,
out in 2007. Yeah, July 21st, 2007. Dude, and it fucking made a killing, bro. I don't know how, but like the budget for the Simpsons movie was $75 million.
So, odd fact
But the
about
box
that,
office was 530. So like they did okay.
part of that is they had a specific goal to put every single Simpsons character ever into the movie.
Oh, so just the amount of voice actors, which is crazy.
No, not
Well,
even just voice actors.
The amount of animation hours, bro.
Animation, because there's a mob scene where they put every single person ever in that mob. And they span the whole mob so that you have to get a bit of a focus on line by line each row of people in this mob so you can, if you were to go frame by frame, try to identify some of your favorite oddball characters in that crowd.
Dude, it's 36 seasons, bro.
I know.
The Simpsons. 36 seasons, man.
Longest running scripted television show.
December 17th, 1989 is when, like, that is literally The Simpsons is older than James by, like, not even a little, like a few years, dude. Well, 2 years.
It's
Still,
crazy.
older than James. That's crazy.
Well,
I
and
was
then
not even 10 years old when Simpsons started, bro.
when you go back further, I think it's 86 when they first debut on Carol Burnett. It's 86 or 87, I can't remember.
I mean, I'll
It's
have to
just-
scroll down a little bit to try to find that out, but
It's just a little short. Some of the first Carol Burnett bits of The Simpsons are like if you think season 1 Simpsons looks bad, these look even worse, and like the voices are terrible, everything. It's wild.
dude, I still can't believe like 36. Like, just thinking about it. Obviously, I remember that it came out in 1989. You know what I mean? But just seeing that number, 36 seasons, man.
Consecutively.
Like, there's 782 episodes of The Simpsons.
Yeah. And
It would take you over 2 years if you watched one episode a day.
And I can tell you, because they're already working on season 37, they have written and already begun work on episode 800.
Honestly, at this point now, I just want them to hit 1,000. Even if it's absolute dog shit, who cares? Just hit 1,000.
I mean, 200 more episodes. It's only a couple more seasons. Like,
Well, what is there, like 24 per season?
maybe 24, maybe more.
Hey Siri, what's 782 divided by 36? It's like 21 or 22 episodes a season. So, I mean, I don't know, man. That's still a long time.
Yeah.
Who knows how people are going to be consuming any of this stuff by then? Like, it's crazy that it's still on Fox every week. Like, it's crazy. I don't know anyone that still has fucking regular TV. So like you can watch The Simpsons, I think it says on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe they're gonna slowly shift to that and like they won't even be on Fox anymore. I don't know. But like man, that's fucking something else, man.
But yeah, with that mind-blowing thought, we have reached the end of our time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we have just blown your mind with the notion of how long The Simpsons have been around and what it's like when some of these shows just go too long. But with all of that, I'm going to go ahead and send it on over to Uncle Chris so we can bring it on in for a close.
Yeah, like I won't even get started on ones that I think are too short because there's plenty of those. I'm sure lots of people have those also. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you. Check out the good old website, shedtimepodcast.com. Feel free to look at our Patreon. Every little bit counts. And yeah, check us out Friday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Frames Janklin Vapor YouTube channel for the Green Room. We're still pumping those out too. We don't stop. We're just here having a good time. And hopefully you guys are too. So thanks everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe. Live your best life. James, take it away.
As always, huge shout outs to the Shedheads for you guys' continuous support. Make sure you're still leaving those 5-star reviews, smashing that like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the website, shedtimepodcast.com. Check out the YouTube channel, Frames Janklin Vapor for the Green Room. Other than that, I'm going to end it as I always do, sending up positive vibes. Crisp high fives. Don't forget to tell somebody you love them, and a little bag or dab will do ya.
Oh, yes, friends. And of course, one last time, Shedtime Podcast has everything. Links to the Frames Janklin Vapor channel so you can catch the Green Room. Jesus Christ, I can't talk suddenly. It's got links to Patreon and it's got links to the merch shop if you want to scoop some cool Shedtime merch. So with that, I'm going to tell you, don't let the best get you down. Be cool. Don't be a dick. And whatever it is that you do, try and have some fun because this is Shedtime Podcast and it's time to blow one up and blow one out.
Yeah.
Dude, in my head, I was like, yo, like we might be able to split this episode in two and try to pick up a little bit
Dude, not
of
only
an
that,
extra episode.
I'm sitting here thinking, fuck, dude, we're going so long. I got to pee so bad right now, dude. We better cut this shit soon, bro.